Now, one of the things I've noticed in the 6 months that I've been doing this is that, and I probably wouldn't have realized it otherwise because I've had to sort of deliberately look at it in a certain way. There are a lot of modern classics out there that no one is talking about. Now, I'm not just talking about the general moviegoer or the reviewer. I mean, even the content creators. I'm not nuking anybody or anything like that, but this has just been my observation in 6 months. When Ryan first came on the show, we did a movie, and I'm staying within about the past 2 decades, within about 20 years. We did a fantastic review of a movie called Ravenous with Guy Pearce and Robert Carlyle. It was just fantastic. John, you and we did a really fun one. I think it was the first one you came on for, which was Cabin in the Woods. Just really good stuff. That guy, Knight, has come on the show a couple times. We did a fantastic Netflix movie called The Ritual, based on Adam Neville's novel. We did an IFC Midnight show called A Dark Song. My old buddy Doug Lester and I, from back in the 80s. Doug's been on here twice. He's going to be back here next month. We did a fantastic movie called Green Room, which stars Patrick Stewart as a neo-Nazi leader. It's about a band band of kids. The guy who played Chekhov in the Star Trek reboot, who just died. He plays one of the bass players or guitarists in this kids band, and they get a gig. Because it's basically like Get in the Van in a horror movie. And they get this gig like at a skinhead bar, and they witness a murder. And the guy who runs the skinheads is fucking Patrick Stewart. And whoever had the idea of casting him as this was just a fucking genius, because it's just such an understated fucking performance. But again, a movie that no one's talking about. I've done Dread, The Devil's Candy again with Doug. Underwater, Bill and I think John, we've all seen that at this point with Kristen Stewart from this past year, Book of Eli. There are so many of these modern classics that are out there that people just, I don't know, for some reason, just they aren't addressing them. You're getting The Hangover still going on from the 80s, where people want to talk about, their favorite Kurt Russell movie. And I'm not knocking those movies. We did the entire Carpenter trilogy. But people are still talking about Halloween. I mean, my understanding is when you go to the cons, even Carpenter doesn't want to talk about Halloween anymore. He usually will just want to talk about basketball or some shit like that. I don't know what it takes. That people over the past 20 years, just aren't paying any attention to these high quality flicks.
This is the thing when it comes to content creation, and I find this true in every single band I've ever played in the last 35 years, is that people are obsessed with playing the mainstream hits and not exploring anything else because they're so worried that the audience will not know, well, this great song from 1982 or this awesome song from 1991. They go directly to classic rock because we all know the Pink Floyd, we all know the Bruce Springsteen, we all know the Radiohead. And it can be kind of lazy. You're either dealing with the hot new thing that everyone knows about because it's all in our face on all media, or you're dealing with something that is just 100% sure thing classic. And you're right. All these great movies, they get forgotten because people think, oh, no one's seen that. We can't talk about that. No one will know what we're talking about. So yeah, you can shortchange movies that aren't super old school classics, and you can forget about them because everyone's always looking for the newest, latest.
And you can then add to keeping on the music theme, the things that I'm noticing, at least within the past 10 to 12 years, with the invention of YouTube and things like Netflix and what have you, you're finding minor groups, or what started out to be minor groups, like Netflix itself, showing some of these stuff on their channel instead of putting it out there in the public, and people are coming to find it. This movie that we're about to talk about tonight is a really good example.
Yeah.
Because when it first came out, people were kind of like, they didn't know what to do with it, but it eventually built a fan following.
Yeah.
Deal. So you're kind of seeing like, when you're doing Netflix and things like that, all of a sudden you're going, that's like catching an independent band going, hey, they're good.
Yeah.
You know, when you see films like that on that type of platform.
You have to look for it now. You have to look for it nowadays because they're not pushing it in the big theaters. You know, you're getting the Marvel flicks and the, you know, the whatever else and the, you know, the Rock and, you know, these sorts of things. And I enjoy watching the Rock. I enjoy watching Marvel flicks. Don't misunderstand me. It's just that these have been completely, seemingly, you know, ignored. And, you know, we're talking about, you know, part 427 of something. Right. Or you know, the new reboot of The Exorcist. God knows why we need one of those.
Well, Pete Townsend said long ago is if you try to put something across to an audience that has quality, it's going to fail. But if you do something big in front of 1,000 geezers, they all just sort of get excited. And that's what movies have become. It's the spectacle, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like CGI robots as much as the next guy.
I love Pacific Rim.
More often than not, though, I'm finding it hard to find good adult movies with great performances by fantastic actors doing a well-plotted and well-thought-out script. And it's harder and harder to find those. I don't know if it's because we're too, you know, into the Marvel universe and everything's got to be geared towards the 12-year-old, you know, mind, but you know, when you find a good movie like that, you grasp onto it and hang on to it, and those are going to become the modern classics. I'm going to bring up one, The Witch.
Oh, yeah. Robert Eggers.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, we got to get to that.